Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Focus on Liberia. Good afternoon, wherever you are. Good afternoon to folks in the homeland Liberia, where my good friend Robert Moncio Kpadeh is joining us from. Welcome and welcome to the show. This is the opposition perspective on Focus on Liberia with Robert Moncio Kpadeh. I'm Anthony Sie hosting this edition of our program, The Perspective of the Opposition, or the opposition perspective here. I focus on Liberia. Hit the share button. Let's get to business. This is, yes, another edition of our program, The Opposition Perspective. Here, I focus on Liberia. As always, Robert Moncio Kpadeh is here to drill us through the political issues as they happen in the homeland. He gives his own opinion. He analyzes the issue and he makes things simple for us Liberians. This is what this gentleman does. He is a political actor. And so if you are a person who wants to know all the government issues in our country, you want to be here as Rabbi helps us understand these issues as they unfold in the country. At this time, I will welcome Rabbi Moncio Kpadeh. He is the leader of the One People Revolutionary Movement. Mr. Kpadeh, welcome to Focus on Liberia, another edition. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's a great pleasure. I'm under the weather, so I might not be very clear. The quality of my voice might be pretty poor, but I'm spirited. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure, to join FOL, to join you and talk about our country. I like to talk about the country because this is very critical for us. This is where we call home. Governance is very essential, and it's always an opportunity to give our view. Our view, even though our views are opposition view, but pretty much our views are critical because they are embedded with the facts, and so there is no modicum of fear when we espouse our views on the governance of our country. So pretty much, I'd like to give you my salute for having me again. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Robert Moncio Kpadeh there, here with the opposition perspective on the issue of governance in Liberia. For those who are joining us, let me give you a rundown of the things that we have packaged for Moncio to walk us through, analyze, for us to understand. Number one, the president's contest tour. He will talk about the welcoming ceremony, delegation of projects, the delegation budgets, the EPS reported dev and all that. We will talk about that. And then the noise in the opposition Liberty Party deepens. We will talk about that. Brownie J. Samunkai, I understand, is that case, for some reason, many people see it as more political than a kind of, judicial. We will talk about that. We have a question on that. And regarding that case, there was a letter written by the Solicitor General. We have a question for Moncio, and he will give his take on that. I think he has a word of caution there to the Solicitor General, who is now in this habit of writing letter, not to the knowledge of his boss, the Justice Minister Frank Musa Dane. Also, Councillor Austin Dubusi Nwambodiki, the guy who purported as a Liberian national over 38 years in Liberia and milk all the benefit thereof, he's out because of pressure. What does Moncio have to say about this guy? Does he want to see this guy prosecuted in Liberia? And a Liberian government feel, what would be his call to civil society organization? What can they do to see to it that this guy is held accountable for defrauding our entire system of government? Last but not least, Moncio will walk us through the national legislature. On a buffer's chambers, there was a session and no one showed up. Rather, did not take that kindly. And so he posted because he saw that the people's representative were not doing the business of the people. Folks, let's get started. Moncio, the president, at long lies, a nationwide tour. He's currently in the southeast. We've been seeing ceremonies. We've been seeing projects being delegated. Report of somebody getting killed who is an EPS person. What do you have to share?
Thank you again. Actually, the president is in his May term. The president has governed the country for 3 years and 3 months, which is half of his statutory term. So when the president began to tour the country, which I believe is pretty late. Should have done that. Whatever the case is, it's up to him, and the consequences is for him to bear. But the
Mhm.
president now towards the country. The first thing I will want to see the president do fundamentally is to go to River G, go to Maryland, go to Grand Coup, where he comes from. All right, go to Sano and have a conversation with the people, conversation along the lines of property, truth telling. I want to hear the president say how has his government over the last 3 years, few months impacted the people economically? How has his government over the last 3 years and some months effectuated development in the country to improve the people living standard? How has his government created jobs for the people? How has his government attracted foreign direct investment, foreign companies to see them operating across the broad spectrum, geographical spectrum of the Southeast to improve the life? I don't see the president doing that. What I see the president, pretty much does in effect. By the way, the president trip is a spectacle comedy. What do I mean? The president is singing and dancing. He's singing Lion Man around the place. He's tying lapa. They should be part of the culture, I'm told. But the president moved on a caravan, a comical caravan, very comical caravan. So I don't consider this tour any serious tour. Now, in terms of the projects they are talking about, just put that into perspective.
Okay.
Uh, what 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 is the economic return, economic value of those projects? I know in a few places they did some horses. We do not understand how the horses were built. Again, I continue to raise the issue of government project when we talk about transparency and ensuring value for money. We see housing project in Grand Cru, housing project in Grand Jide. Okay, fine. But we want to know how much was spent. We want to know the quality of the housing project. Yeah, in Monrovia, Mr. Weir is spending millions of dollars to build his mansions, and penthouses
Right.
for himself. Now, so if he went to Grand Jide and went to Grand Cru and built some shabby stuff for our people and want to make a political capital out of it, we want to ask you the question: how do we derive on that? Okay, what's the cost of the project? How can we establish value for money for the project? Because look, government projects, all right, should be done along the lines of property, all right, should be done along the lines of ensuring that they are subjected to bidding process, all right, competitive bidding process in line with the PPCC laws of our country, so that we can establish value for money. So if we say we build a house or we build, a few houses, for our people in Grand Jide, those houses that we claim we build for the people must have the value in line with the money we spend, and we'll be able to serve the people properly. So there are a lot of issues that come that come to mind, and a lot of questions lingering. So look, pretty much, I'm not impressed with the president trip. The president trip more political than a real presidential trip that should be about working. It should be a working duty, going to inspect projects, going to have a dialogue and conversation with the people around his agenda. I haven't heard him talk about his agenda. He claimed that he have this PMPD and proper agenda. How has that agenda impacted people in Bokondide, in Grand Jide, in Rewaji? The president went to the place after 3 years. The president got shamed that the presidential compare is a total mess. And he said, how can you have this? All right. But the president was blasting at the people. But it says it's telling, it's very instructive that is the president in charge after 3 years. You got something. If the presidential compound can be a shabby place, imagine how the people live. Okay, imagine how wretched the people live in Rivergy. And this again falls in the president lap. He's a head of state after 3 years. Has this president, has this government, all right, impacted the lives of the people? Do we see that on the caravan? Do we see that on the presidential tour? No. We see destitute people. We see the people faces all dressed, in poverty, in disdain, in shame. Total infamy. All right. So look, I see the president passing around. He was the grand crew. He's running around the place. And he throwing battle crowns and stuff like that. When presidents go on presidential tour, they are dedicating serious projects. And when we talk about project, we talk about capital, huge capital project. You're talking about major roads that will boost our transportation. You're talking about expanding electric grid. You're talking about things that would directly impact the people's lives. All right. Little interventions are good. All right, but they are not major development. Major development in the context of economics are development that you do that yield results. That's not what we're saying. And then we see the president singing his Lion Man hit, and he's dancing and throwing tantrums and diatribes to opposition people. This is not what the trip for. I'm not saying the president spent over $1 million for that trip. We want the president to have a conversation with the people. We want the president to talk about his agenda. All right? And then he forgot about all the frenzy and all the, the raves and rants. We want the president, we want the trip to be more fundamental, to be more realistic, to be a serious presidential trip that puts the agenda on the table and say to the people, we've gone 3 years, we've done this. Give the people a report of your 3 years. Now, 3 years like, in the 3 years, I'm promising we'll do this. All right? He failed to do that. Like he didn't do that in no substantial term when he gave his state of the day, when he gave his annual message. So again, this is just another fiasco trip for the president to go and do what he likes to do and what he does best, to go and do the comical things, to go and sing, and just for the bus around the place. But again, substantially, I don't consider this a serious working presidential tour because I don't see the characteristics coming into effect. I mean, dedicated serious project, having a serious dialogue with the people about the issues that matter to them, sitting with the people across the broad spectrum of the demographic, sitting with women, sitting with chiefs, individually, and having this serious conversation with them. I don't see that. I don't see the quality of project. There is not a transparent look. When you tell me you dedicate a project in Grand Juliet, first tell me the cost. I want to know the cost of the project. I want to know who executed that project. I want to know how much money was spent. All right. I want to establish as to what it was done along the lines of property, in keeping with the PPCC laws. All right, you cannot come and tell me, say, you're doing this, you're doing that. Okay, so I just say, like I said, it's a spectacle of comics, spectacle of jokes that the president has embarked on and trying to throw red meat to his supporter, that he going around the place and trying to feed them with red meat, nothing more, nothing less.
And Robert, you mentioned when you were speaking about nearly $1 million that was reportedly made known to us as being the cost. And then we also saw a huge delegation. Pretty much, I listened to somebody who said that pretty much every senior government official on that trip who is left behind now to steer the affairs of these agencies of government. Somebody was raising that question. Those two things, I want you to talk to me about them. Is that money that's been talked about too much? And is there a problem with that huge delegation?
The first thing, do you need a huge delegation to go and fill in conference halls and fill in Palawa hall centers and other public hall across the country? You don't need that. By the way, the president wants 1 more battalion plus army people, military people, when they should be on their duty. What are you taking the military people across the country to go and visit Grand Crew and Grand Juliet and Maryland? All right? I mean, it marvels me. I mean, these people should be based there. They should be doing the work. You're taking that. The president took ministers and deputy ministers, and they have abandoned their office. This is their relation to duty. It illustrates how this government is very dysfunctional. And when we continue to talk about it, people think we just want to lambast the government. But why would the president be going around the place with all the ministers and the deputy ministers going with over a battalion of military troops to go and have, and visit his own people? I mean, this president, as we told, he's loved by the people. He's a friend of the people. So we do not expect the president to be running around the place with battalion of people around the place, all across the place. So you need huge sum of money to be able to ferry these people to the Bureau County, feed them, and ensure that you get a lodging for them. This is wrong. This is reprehensible. I mean, you don't need 900,000 or $1 million to just go across the country. But the president, everywhere the president going, there's presidential visa, all right? And so how much are you going to spend on food? So we will be asking for real accountability for that money, okay? And I don't see it's illogical for the president to be traveling and asking finance minister, commerce minister, transport minister to accompany him. These people should be here, all right? This is the midterm of the president's tenure. He should be putting emphasis on work. The minister should be putting emphasis on work. They should be reviewing the policies if they do have any policy. They should be trying to find a way to revamp and recalibrate, because as a lot of things are pretty much horrible from every perspective. In terms of governance, the country totally lagging behind them, progressing forward. So you need to get get people sitting in office and grinding their noses, to get work done, rather than running around the place and singing Liar Man. And then you see the sycophants and the president is in Maryland, and yeah, they're singing Liar Man. Everybody's standing up to dance with the president. Just pure sycophants. We do not have time. You don't see Nana Kofo going across the country in Ghana and dancing and singing. He is holding serious conversation, about his agenda, giving report to the people that over the last 3 years, what he has done in terms of governance, and the next 3 years to come, what will be done. For us, those are the kind of structural conversation we want to hear. Funny matter conversation we want to hear. Not the president going around the place and singing Liar Man. Not the president going around the place and running and doing your own personal, stuff like that, gymnastics, all the kind of things. We're not interested in that, So president said, President, we are collecting our money to effectuate a counter tour. It should be a working tour, not a comical tour. As it is, like I said, it's a spectacle of comedy, a spectacle of joke, fun. You just run around the place, frenzy. Like yesterday we saw a video coming out of a great group of people running all around the place with Lapata and this. We want the president to have a serious conversation with the people in great group about their life. We saw the people face dressed in poverty, dressed in disdain, dressed in despair. We want to president to tell the people how can he liberate the people from the doldrums of poverty, all right, and despair, and misery. Not to go and start running around the place with the people in a dirty shanty villages. Sastan looks so dirty. Dirty shanty village. This is shameful. This is shameful. So why is there to be running around the place about? It's time to sit and have serious conversation with the people. Go into the future. The next 3 years, what can he do? What has he done in the last 3 years? Of course, we don't see anything. We don't see anything. And clear evidence is the fact that he went to Raji and he was so ashamed when he saw the filthy and wretched presidential villa. It says to you, he's not a president, he's not a handy president, he's not on top of things, more or less sitting in Monrovia having party, and that's it. That's sad.
Thank you, folks. Watching
let me
us here, this is
we will ask for the accountability of the money being spent to facilitate the tour. All right, we're gonna ask for that.
All right, Robert Moncio Kpadeh, leader of the One People Revolution movement, that is a pro-democracy and political advocacy organization in the Monoland, asking questions of governance, and he is here on our program here, the Opposition Perspective. Welcome to the show. Hit that share button. Let's get into this business more and more. We have already started here for your information. Moncio.
Yes, sir.
The EPS issue is another issue of concern. He was designed on this trip, to provide security. We were told that, reportedly shot himself. I don't know how. Are you buying this narrative from our government that this guy killed himself? He committed suicide?
And the first thing, this is not a government, I believe, because the government is not reputable. The government is notorious. All right. This government is known for doing nefarious things, so I don't believe this government. I like to, in this public manner, extend sympathy to the family, send my prayers to them. I know the EPS guy, very well trained guy. I think he was trained in the U.S. When I worked in government, I saw him in active duty. Very, very fastive guy. He always very static, great spirit, great security guy. He will give you, your respect every time he saw you. Why might have led the guy to fire into a head 3 times? This is it lingers more question than answer. So we can only press the regime. We can only press the regime and ask his family to ensure that they press for investigation. Again, this is just sad. This is just sad. So we hope we can find out what led to that. Now we know that he was the man got shot. They claim he shot himself, so he died by bullet. So the issue of establishing cause of death is moot. But what might have led to that? Somebody shoot. Do you need to shoot in your head 3 times? As very sensitive the brain is, if you put one magnum bullet in it, will you still have the energy to stand up to put 2 more there? So these are critical questions. Forensic investigators can ask. So we hope they can put emphasis on investigating so that we know the truth. We've been hearing a lot of things whisper here and there, but some, internal wrangling in the security apparatus, EPS. We don't know the authenticity of that. Again, we don't want to speculate, but we want to ensure and ask them to do what is right. And that is to ensure a transparent investigation to establish the fact. This man served the country. He's a public servant. He served the country, served the EPS. every Liberian who will die under questionable circumstances. We want to know. The family deserve to know. We want to know what happened, what led to that psychological problem. Was he in trouble with his wife? Was he in trouble back home? Did something happen? What led? So, for instance, people will ask those critical questions. They will ask psychological questions. They will ask security questions. They want to know what happened. For the man to have garnered the courage to put 3 bullets in her, everybody did so. What led to that? Because that is totally psychological disorder. You know, that's what we call cognitive dissonance. For someone to muster that kind of stupid courage to put 3 magnum bullets in his head. This is nothing. This is not easy. This is not walking in the park business. This is serious business. So we want to know what might, caused that. And this we can only know about our investigation, but we are concerned. This is very concerning. I say my prayers for the family, and our sympathy, and pray that God continue to watch over them, in this difficult time. Really difficult time. Family man, he has a wife, he has children. What become of the kid's future? These are things for us to be very concerned about. So yes, so that would be my point on that. I think we need real serious investigation, forensic investigation. I hope the government can muster the courage to do that. Because when people die under these kind of circumstances, scary circumstances, there must be a way for us to establish what happened.
Certainly, but rather unfortunately, we have never come to closure with any of the debts as we've seen in the past until now, and we are focused on Liberia. Want to join you in expressing our deepest sympathy to the family for a very dutiful and committed security personnel who had dedicated his life to serving his country, to have died under such circumstance. I mean, it is just mind-boggling, and we want to say sorry to the family. But let me progress here. The opposition Liberty Party, the crisis in there, deepens in the election of Musa Belete. That political institution has been under the microscope, politically speaking. Many have called for him to either resign or be removed. And the noise continued while we were still talking about that. He, Musa Belete, out of frustration, said that, hey, if anybody insults my parent, I will do the same to the person. And he said that to individual asking serious questions that border, on his credibility. Now, as though that was not enough, a staffer of Dillon, in person of Aaron Kofachi, resigned from Senator Dillon's office, and he had narrated the level of hypocrisy that he claimed exhibited by Darius Dillon during a convention, that even Dillon netted 3 positions from that convention. And your colleague, who is Simeon Fremont, said that Liberty Party was sold for pickups, and it was confirmed by this staffer of Dillon, who said that when Belete got these pickups, he was teasing officials of the government to take a pickup in support for him, and that's what happened. So the party was sold to the highest bidder, according to the young man, and this is a dutiful young man who had been serving Dillon, and then as though that is not enough, we saw Dillon and Yombly, who are being accused of selling the seat to Belete, taking picture with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and Dillon will go to justify it. My question is, what do you make of all these as a political actor in the opposition bloc?
It's a bundle of concerns.
Yeah.
Look, last time I was here on the FOL with Dennis, I made my point quite clear, and I said to the Liberty Party folks, they were on an obligation to ensure that they do what is right. Mr. Belete was on an obligation to clear his name from the heralding, allegation of corruption coming out of FIFA. I understand the FIFA decision came out of the attribution chambers that usually hear or investigate transgression against FIFA. Again, that's not a court, but again, that's their own way of trying to establish wrong whenever there's an issue of transgression. Mr. Belete said it was not fair, so I said to them the last side of the conversation here, to ensure that he ran our effort to go to court, clear his name. I think there's the Football International Court that can handle matters of such concern. And I also know there are other, jurisdiction, legal jurisdiction, where he can go and seek justice and claim. Why? He should do so because it will put him in a better position, all right, as an opposition chairman. All right, and it will put the Liberty Party in a better position as an opposition. Because when you're opposition party, for the most part, you mirror the sitting government. When the country is misgoverned by the current government, you lash at them, you back at them, you rebuke them. So if you, who's supposed to be rebuking the wrong, doing the egregious things committed by the sitting government, and then you stain, reportedly or allegedly stain, allegation of you know, theft or whatever, then the question arises, what pedestal do you stand on to cast expression? So, like I said, I didn't want to, again, I would not join the chorus, the choruses around town to see this man guilty of corruption, because I want to look at it from a more legal perspective. He must go to court and clear his name. If he does not do so, he definitely doesn't have the moral pedigree, and that definitely undermines the standing of Liberty Party, a party that is believed to or said to be built, you know, on transparency, foundation. So on what foundation, what pedestal, moral pedestal do you stand on to cast expression? I have been trying to reach out to Mr. Benedict. It's been pretty much difficult to get to him. But I have said to other colleagues, other leaders in the CPP, it will be just about right for Mr. Benedict to see reason to clear his name, and that will also save the Liberty Party now and in the future. On the issue of what is obtaining in the party, I know the party now is pretty much divided. You have one group that believe the whole convention, too many other people now said just in England believe that the whole convention was a fiasco. It was stage managed, it was corrupt, and it was done in a way to stage proteges of Mr. Dillon, proteges of Yombly, all the kind of stuff. Those concerns, I believe, they are coming from party members, people who've been in the party, people who've worked for the party. I will encourage Youngly, I will encourage Mr. Ability to have a dialogue with people who got concern, people who got grievances. You see, political party is not owned by one group of people. It's not owned by you because you're in the leadership. It's owned by entire membership, by entire body of people. All right, and those are the people that make up the party. If they're not pleased, they're not happy. All right, they could take their asset, and when they take their asset, there's no political party. A political party of all people is not political party. Political party build their strength on the shoulders of their membership. So if the membership, in the generality, not happy, it's a sound, it's instructive to any leader. So say, look, let's sit down and have a conversation. It's not good for the party. Every morning you tune the radio, and there's people embarrassing from here, people responding here and there, the issue in the media and stuff. This is haunting the Liberty Party in a very great way. I'll be frank with you. You tune the radio, or you tune to the different radio stations, their commentaries, their feature, their analysis on the fate of the Liberty Party. I think they can face it. All right. Mr. Bilete, I believe, has a very good, him and Sarah, when it comes to reaching. I think he should do that. I encourage young people to do that. I encourage Mr. Jenner to do that. You can't say people. You can classify people as this or as troublemaker, because at the end of the day, there's a tomorrow. The leadership of the Liberty Party, all right, is being tested. The way they manage this crisis, all right, and resolve it, all right, will speak lastly to their ability to even lead tomorrow, all right. Tomorrow you'll be dealing, if you be lucky, and then you get to state power, you'll be leading a state, a nation, all right, where people will have grievances, where people will have issues, okay. So if you don't have the temperament to handle what happened in your party, the disagreement and the wrangling happening in your party, how can we be sure that tomorrow you can manage the affairs of the state? Because it's totally difficult thing. It's convoluted to manage a state. All right, so you need a lot of things. You need temperament, you need experience, to manage the affairs of a nation. So you have to begin that discipline. You have to begin that leadership in your party. I can only encourage them to see reason to call all the folks together. The Khartoum, the Asher Jassy, the Aruna Farah. Those are all guys that have been associated with the party for years, for many years. Aruna Farah, all guys. It started from the FOB. We were here in the press, you know. Then I was one of the editor. We published the party listing. I was the editor then for the Telegraph newspaper. We published the listing. It was brought to me by Fanati Kofa. We published it for them, you know. So and then we met Kasapronski and other people. We were friends, so we know, you know, the history of that party from whence the party come. So the best thing, there will always be a disagreement. There will, especially in political party, there will always be issues, but the leadership got to be able to muster the temerity and be the shock absorber. So say, look, at the end of the day, extend your hand of friendship, get people to the table to talk. They have to fix this matter. All right. So two things at stake: the ability, reputation. All right. I don't want to draw people to slam me as a criminal. I don't think, because he has not gone to court. The FIFA itself, the attribution committee, or the transgression committee that they have just brought him up. All right. They're not beyond approach. All right. They're not beyond reproach. Sorry. So he must be given the chance to go to court. You know, let the man go to court and clear his name. And I encourage him to see reason to do that and to ramp effort up. So go to the football court, go to other jurisdiction where you'll be given justice and be heard and clear your name. Secondly, I think with exigency, and emphasis, they should do everything to face the palaver in the party, as a political party, as, you know, going ahead, the road get more rocky, you know, and steep. So you need internally to be united, need to be steady, need to hold together, because if you don't do that, I'm sorry, you're going divided, and the divided army cannot fight any war. With respect to the general staff, I believe the kid expressed himself. I don't know what informed. I think basically he expressed to us what informed his decision. Again, very telling. But again, I trust that Dylan, you know, is a media guy. He will give a side story, he will explain, you know. But again, it still revolves around the crisis in the party. So the party being accused of taking money and selling their position and this, that, other, where it's up to them to clear that. They should do that. They should do that for the sake of the party. They should maintain that spirit of transparency. Many claim the party was established on. That transparency foundation was established on. Oh, wow, Jerry.
All right. Robert, let me allow you to make adjustment at your end there. I know LEC is a kind of a nightmare. Okay. Again, folks in cyberspace, you are watching Focus on Liberia. This is our program, The Opposition Perspective with Robert Moncio, Kpadeh, and Anthony C. hosting. This program comes on every other Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We started a little bit early today because of some other programming conflict that we have here. Welcome to the show. Again, I'm Anthony C. hosting. On the issue of the Liberty Party, folks, here is my take. I think the Liberty Party is in a coffin. The Liberty Party is in a political coffin. And all the leaders of the Liberty Party have the hammer in their hand, and they are trying to nail that coffin. That is the situation with the Liberty Party. And this is what I say so. Darius DeLong became that shining light, he will say, and others will say, in the Liberty Party. He became the image of the Liberty Party. And so is Nyomli Kakan Lauren. She became some form of a quasi-image of the opposition Liberty Party. And so when DeLong came to prominence, in no time, we could easily identify the Liberty Party with Darius DeLong, and anything that does not have DeLong in it, you know, when you're talking about the Liberty Party, it would not gain the traction, and many people will not feel so more connected with it. And so to have come to this point where Darius DeLong name is being dragged in these kind of shenanigans, that he and Nyomli Kanka still manage a convention. And it's not only Aaron Chia who is saying that. now former chairman, he even said that, look, these people wanted me out. DeLong, he called DeLong, he was on Spoon TV. DeLong even wanted the convention way before time, which is August. And what's his name? Mr. Billete, Hassan Billete, he bought pickups all along. When he was not chairman, he didn't buy pickups for this party. Not until when he wanted to be chairman, he started buying pickups. And the gentleman in the party saying, hey, that man was selling the pickups for votes, selling the pickup to the leader. So they issue a zero. They issue has tinted or DeLong's so-called light resume. And so is Nyomli Kanka Lawrence. And in as much as these two individuals who are the key leaders in the party and now Billete coming with this FIFA thing hanging over him, I think the Liberty Party politically is in the coffin. And these three leaders I just talked about, they have their individual hammers in their hand and they are just nailing Liberty Party. I don't see how they get out of this. If they want my political effort, this is what they need to do. Billete need to resign. DeLong should step aside. Let Nyomli Kanka step aside. The side that is raising all the accusing fingers should come to the play. The Axel Jackson, the Tume, they should assume leadership of the party. Then they can come to a dialogue, and then Liberty Party will have a rebirth. But if DeLong, if Nyomli and Billete feel that they control, the party, and so they're going to move forward, Liberty Party will remain divided, and Liberty Party will die a natural death soon. That is my political analysis using my political eyes here. Robert Moncio Kpadeh has joined us. Sorry, it's Liberia. We know he has to turn the generator on, become maybe LEC, let him down. What's the situation, my man?
Well, pretty much, I think the guy was just switching to the second generator. I don't have LEC. I live where I live. I don't have LEC, so he was just switching to the other generator,
Okay.
to generator two. It's unfortunate. The grid has not reached me yet. The electric grid has not reached me yet. So you can imagine, I don't know when I'm going to come. I live on the Ralphie Highway, so I pretty much survive on generator, and I got to keep my lights on.
But Robert, we heard about light poles that should have started from the Rubber Feet Highway all the way to my hometown of Negro Town. We heard that news about 2 years ago. So I think it's still coming.
I believe so. I hope it comes. I hope it comes, because look, it's pretty much unfortunate. Governance in our country this time around, for the most part, does not represent the truth. For the most part, does not show any care for the people. And I continue to emphasize that. The essence of political leadership, is to put emphasis on the people and the things that matter to them. We have said that. I wonder why by this time, and this is not just only what we have to be very fair on this world. This country, since it was established, the country failed, the leadership, the political leadership, from one era to another, marked the faith to put emphasis on the people. Classic example is the Southeast we talked about earlier. Look at how dejected, how shabby, and right here to Southeast look, very beautiful place, very wonderful landmark, great scenery. Can you imagine how we invested in that place 50 years ago? Why is the Southeast impossible during rain season? When it's raining, when the rains are falling, you cannot access, with ease the Southeast. People go through hell to access it. And that undermines trade, that undermines commerce, and it takes away from the very government. We're not treating the people with respect. We failed to put socio-economic dignity on the lives of our people. And this is just plain wrong, dead wrong, utter wrong. And
all right.
So this Virginia,
let me progress. Let's come to the issue of the.
They will make different stuff. No, they will not.
Let's come to the issue of the legislature. Robert, you follow these things, given you being a leader in the country. The House of Representatives, I think last Thursday or so, did not show up for a section, and you saw that you were disappointed, and you wrote a Facebook post, to express how you felt. And what I gather from that is that these are lawmakers, the direct representative of the people, who being elected, being paid fabulous salaries to do the work of the people, and they abandon the work of the people for a reason that we can't find. And you wrote this post. Let me just read a little bit of it, and then I will give you the opportunity to. It said these are the absentees. I mean, these are the absentees. Many of you wrongfully call honorables, but are they? You are asking a question. No, they are not. People who more often not skip sections and abandon other legislative duties and engage in dishonorable acts cannot be referred to as honorables. People who are guilty of reside during what is the word?
People who are guilty of bracing dereliction.
Dereliction,
People
thank
who
you.
are guilty of
Dereliction
bracing
and
dereliction.
markedly dysfunctional in their constitutional charge cannot be called honorables. People who are not, I mean, people who aid and abet misrule and the umbrella looting and plundering of state resources cannot be called honorable. So basically, what you're saying here is that we can't call these people honorable when they
No.
do things that are far from why you will call honorable. And you said that because these are the empty chairs. Let me show them to the viewers
Absolutely.
here. These are empty seats. The speakers
Mhm.
were not there. Nobody show up in section when they're supposed to be doing the business of the people. Why this got to you so much is this the first time this thing is happening in Liberia?
This is not the first time. I have been very, very tough, very blistering on
Mm-hmm.
the dysfunctionality
Mm-hmm.
of the legislature. This legislature has been a total disgrace. All right, they
Mm-hmm.
continue to fail the people. They do not represent the aspiration of the people. You see,
Mm-hmm.
the lawmakers are the people deputy. All right. When the people elect them, they should go and represent the aspiration of the people. They should go and advocate for the people. All right. But that is not the case. They are colluding and conniving with the executive to rob the country. They are aiding and abetting misrule, like I indicated plainly in our short post. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just plain wrong. Okay? We are sick and tired of being sick and tired of a legislature that is dysfunctional. All right, and we're only conveying when they're talking about budget, and they will pass a budget. The budget is then passed scrupulously. They don't subject the budget to any scrupulous checks. All right, the budget get passed in a 4G way, and they get paid for that. All right, it's only about them and the allocation that they will benefit. Just a few that they were in the press talking about some $7 million that few of them lawmakers in that same House of Representatives. All right, now we're being told that a lot of them hopping behind Mr. Weah across the country in the name of going to the county. Look, the legislature should be transparent. It should be independent. It should focus on its job. This is total dereliction to do that like I underscored in my piece. And we don't take kindly to this. They get paid hugely. In our country, we pay lawmakers $10,000 to $15,000, all right, and pay teachers who educate our kids, pay nurses who care for our city, $200, $150, $250. We don't even take care of our military people. Our police are wearing tattoo clothes. They're not mobilized. They are not encouraged to do the job, so they're being subjected to bribery. All right, and you have lawmakers who just go to job two times a week. They go Tuesday and Thursday, and you won't tell me these people will skip session. Session, that's the only job you do. For the most part, the key job you do is to go to session, because in session you have an agenda to discuss the issues that matter to the people. There are a lot of issues happening in this country, from security to the economy, to printing money, to all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff. That House of Representative, all right, literally does nothing. So I said, what do you call these people honorable? In the first place, they should not be called honorable. The title for the lawmaker, there are 2,000 for them. Either Senator John Brown or Representative John Brown. The honorable title are reserved for the Senate and the House, the institution. They carry the honorable. So you say the honorable Senate, the honorable House of Representatives. All right, lawmakers are not honorable. All right, and the worst thing about it, the things that they do, even make it, they're not. Those things are not honorable. They are passing budget in 4G way. They're not representing the interests of the people. They are conniving and colluding with the executive to misgovern the country. How do we call them honorable? Why do you skip session? Because a lot of them running behind Mr. Weah, to please Mr. Weah, and then abandoning their work. This is dereliction to do that. It illustrates the dysfunctionality we continue to emphasize on, and this is wrong, utter wrong. And that's why I thought when they said to write that post. That's not the only time. We know many times we've raised issue about the same legislature. This was the same legislature that gave Mr. Weah cash blanche, $30 million, all right, on the issue of the fund meant for people, how you call it, stimulus package. This legislature gave this man a cash blank $30 million to go and buy food, to go buy rest, R&B's money that we took on loan. I wrote them and said to you cannot give this man his money. This man, the executive is not reputable. These people saying they came to power, it be a 3 years of scandal. 3 years of scandal, one scandal to another. 15 million, 16 billion, 25 million, this scandal, pastor scandal. These people, they are dishonorable. All right, they're notorious. So you don't want to give them money, cash blanks, for putting safety mechanism in place to protect the money. Nobody listened to me because they were getting their court. They took the money and gave it. Today, what happened to the similar package? It's a pure total fiasco. The rest did not go to our people. The oil did not go to our people. The money they said they're going to get the market with me. No one understands what happened to it. You know, and the money was meant to lend cushion to our people in the face of grinding economic situation. When the COVID was on the rise and subjected the country to a grinding halt, and the people could not move around, they were placed on a curfew and stuff like that, and all kinds of things. How do you treat the people that that money has disappeared? This legislature cannot muster the courage to call Mr. Weah, all right, and his people to give account of the money. All right. I have said over and over, these people are spending millions to build roads. The legislature should ensure that the roads that they are building, the projects, the different projects are subjected to PPC standard so that we establish value for money. That is not the case. All right. They get to, road projects here and there, and they get kickbacks, because they get a lot of money, millions of dollars for the road projects. All right. And after maybe 6 months, 7 months, we see the road potholes covered by potholes. This is because this legislature is spineless, it's corrupt, all right? It's not dutiful, it's dishonorable, it's not working in the interest of the people, and there's a side. When the legislature is not effective and scrupulous and independent, I'm sorry, governance become bad. You cannot, to have good governance, you must have a very effective, independent, issue-based structure legislature that will ensure that the executive account for the people money. All right, but that is not the case. When the budget is due, when they draw out the budget, the money go to Cloud Weah, the money go to Mr. Weah, the money go to EPS, the money go to President. Mr. Weah got interest. The money does not go to the people. The money does not go to the people, and the things that matter to them. All right, there was a point in time. There was money. Mr. Weah announced that they had money in the bank, 75,000 chairs, blah 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 blah. The money got missing. The chairs were not provided to the schools. The legislature, a member of the legislature, all right, came out and talked about this thing and informed the public that the chair that the mayor announced, the chairs were not bought. This legislature cannot muster the courage to call the finance minister to say XYZ. This very legislature cannot muster the courage to subject the finance minister to the budget process or processes. That said, look, before you even submit the budget should be accompanied by a budget performance report. Nothing happened. He should come with a team and justify line by line how to spend money. All right, nothing. The man just sent the budget on maybe on Saturday or Friday. Monday morning the budget is passed. All right, and they had the right resolution to pass the budget that we, the lawmaker, agreed to pass the budget because why? They get it on a court. We just got a report that 7 million got missing. Money meant for utility purposes for the running of the place. You go there, the place is filthy, it's dirty. Their bathroom cannot host strangers. They don't have water. But 7 million, be stolen. You can't get a kind of 7 million money meant for the running of the place, for electricity, for fuel oil, for stationery, and other recurring stuff. Nothing happening. So the people are just corrupt. So you can't call them honorable men. Honorable people are paid to other people who put emphasis on the people. Who will say to Mr. Weah, this is not your farm, this is not your freedom. This is a Republic of Liberia. When you conduct the affairs of the country, we will call you to order. We will ask you to account for what you do. We'll ask you to account for your stewardship. And this is just sad. This is just sad. The economy is in shambles. The people printed 4 billion got printed the other day. We didn't see the money for the most part. The legislature cannot call, the House of Representatives cannot call to ask what. So if you do not have a legislature that works in the interest of the people, all right, and they will skip, a banner session and run behind the president in the various counties, it does say to you the country is in a total mess. I mean, it's sad, in a total mess. And that's why, the best we can do is according to order, the way we do it. We don't do it with any malice, but we are under obligation to coordinate the order. We are paid by our money handsomely, and I think it's a total travesty to pay a lawmaker 10,000 or 15,000 when you pay a teacher $250, or pay a policeman $150, or pay an army man $200, or a nurse who take care of our sick people when JFK literally doesn't have jobs and relevant equipment to attend to the sick people and take care of major, medical problems. You pay people all that money only to go to job and go to work 2 times a week, and they're not even effective. All right, they're not even effective. They don't even have the spine to sit, and it gets sad. It gets sad.
Extremely sad indeed. Robert Moncio Kpadeh, I agree with you 100%. Our legislature is a complete failure to us as a people. They don't represent our people ably. They don't go to do the people's business. They do their own bidding, and the bidding they do is only for their pockets. And that is extremely sad for Liberia. Let's come to this issue of a guy called Wambodike, purported as a Liberian citizen for 38 years in Liberia, practiced law in our courts in contravention of our laws, was even admitted into the bar, served a leadership position, served in both the early and the Wias government. He could not prove his Liberian citizenship during the Senate confirmation hearing. And so thousands of Liberians have called for him to resign or be made to leave that position, or that the president should fire him. I personally call on the president to let this guy go because this guy lied to the Liberian people. Finally, he bows to pressure and resigned. The question is, what should the Liberian government do about this act of fraud committed by this guy who purported as a Liberian for 38 years?
In the first place, I'm disappointed that Mr. Weah could not muster the courage to dismiss him, man. This man should not have resigned. He should have been dismissed. He should have been fired and then asked to go to court for lying on an oath, which in our jurisdiction is called perjury. Or all other jurisdiction, when you lie on an oath, it's perjury. Okay? And you can be prosecuted for that. The man is a fraud. Now, when you ask me what we're supposed to do with a fraudulent man, fraud is a crime. And in a civilized jurisdiction or civilized domicile, when people violate the law, fraud is a violation, and that's as such killed. But that man who was sitting at LCC chairman, who even served other positions, he has took the system, bamboozled the system. That man he should be dragged to court. So in the first place, Mr. Weah should have demonstrated leadership. That a man work in your government, all right? He has betrayed the public trust. He betrayed you who appointed him. Okay? He brings a sense of reason to question. Mr. Weah, this man should not have walked away honorably. Because for me to resign is walking away honorably. For such a criminal, that man should have been fired in the first place. It speaks to Mr. Weah's weakness and his lack of leadership ability. And it says to you, the man, he just found favor with nefarious people. All right? With con artists. He liked con artists. He liked people who wallow and dangle in scandal. Those people just appease the man. He finds delight in them. Because he should have fired the man. A man who bring your regime, into question and embarrass you, that they're appointing power. That man should not have resigned. But again, this is we're talking about. It doesn't come as a surprise. Okay. Now that a man has resigned, it does not mean, doesn't negate the fact that he defrauded this country for many years. It doesn't negate the fact that he bamboozled the country for many years. And so because of that, again, we should muster the courage. We actually muster the courage, like the Bar Association did. I think by now he's been dismembered from the bar. All right, we don't want him in passing a riot practicing law. He does not have the well-water, he does not have the reputation and the character to practice law. Law is a dignified career. How can a criminal claim to be a lawyer when the lawyer should be fighting crime and then you are a criminal? Wambodike defrauded the system, he bamboozled us, went to government, he lied on the oath, he's a fraud, he's a malcontent fellow. He must be thrown to the center square of the court and prosecuted, burned by the law. Again, can we have muster the courage to do that? No. So, institutions that he had been associating with, number one, the Bar Association. I'd like to salute the bravery and the courage of the folks there, Councillor Gonglo and other folks at the bar. I think reached the decision to dismember him. I think they should be extended. Now he cannot practice. I think I learned before the Supreme Court. I need to establish the facts around that. But to do everything, I think civil society should press more, should press more. All right. And I'm looking forward to initiative like that because I will be a part of it. I will be front and center to get this man to come and face the law. All right. He went to the University of Liberia, claiming to be a Liberian. Later, they didn't pay no money. All right. Denying other Liberian opportunity to go to that school. All right. The UL should see reason to revoke his degree, both the bachelor degree and the law degree, because this guy is a complete texter. All right. He defrauded the UL. He defrauded the country. He defrauded everybody. All right. He was taught by taxpayer money. The people that trained and taught him in that school, those people were paid by the government of Liberia, paid by the taxpayer money, denying several other presidents opportunity to go and benefit from their country, knowing that you're not Liberian. So if he went to that school, he should have paid foreign fee for foreign student. He did not do that because he forged the system, he defrauded the system, he bamboozled the system as a Liberian. And the Lord will take the course. When people commit crime, to be most simplistic about this, when people commit crime, a civilized nation, a civilized state, and group of people must muster the courage to throw them to the law. Not throw the book of law to them. That's how it should be.
All right. If one commits a crime, throw them to the law and let the law be used for that person to be held accountable. Folks, we will take a short break and we'll be right back with Robert Moncio Kpadeh. But when we come back, Robert, get ready. This is what I want you to know. President Weah, you are calling on him to muster the courage for the guy to be prosecuted because he committed a crime. We have the justice minister. Does the justice minister have to wait for the president where he see a commission of a crime to act? He's in the know. He even acknowledged that this guy is a criminal. What he's waiting for. If I were in his position, I would not be waiting for the president to tell me what to do. You are the man of the law. You are the chief prosecutor of the country. Why can't you act? I would like to get your take on that. But let's take this short break and we'll be right back, folks.
Okay.
All right, folks, we are right back. While I wait for Moncio to get set, let me show you a little bit of commercial here. Let me tell you what we got coming up here. I focus on Liberia. This evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have Dr. George Click here. We continue our history series here, and he will be drilling on the policies of Liberia's president, I believe, starting from Todman to Tobob to Dole to Charles Taylor, and then the Propo. So he will talk about, the higher heights, man to mattress, all those things you heard in the past, the green revolutions, the Propo agenda, Vision 2020, Vision 2030. These are policies that were, pronounced by presidents in the past. So he will be able to guide us through and how the policies impacted the country in terms of national development. So we will be bringing that to you this evening, and you don't want to miss it. Monsieur Musadin, the Solicitor General, and also the Solicitor General, who is what's his name, Sima Serena Sifos. They are in and know about Wambodiki. What are they waiting for? If the president can't act, let the president stop you. That is your job. What's your take?
I think they don't have the spine to act, and that's sad. Again, you see, when the governance system is corrupt, and people not allowed, because you see, the justice minister has the latitude, he has the legal latitude, to stand up and act. So if he, can muster the courage, he should do that. But again, he wants to be a politician, not a justice minister. You see, the justice minister is the only cabinet cabinet minister that can disagree with the president. And when he has the evidence, you know, of official government committing wrong, he doesn't have to wait for the president. But again, this is not a system that subscribes or that thrives on, you know, any sense of better governance or good governance or property. It's a political system. They all survive on political patronage and political largesse. So people try to please George Weah. All right, people try to bootleg Weah. You know, but if a justice minister who is independent, who knows the law and knows his power and his latitude, we not have to wait for Mr. Weah. And when Mr. Weah want to subject him to the women caprices, he said, "No, I'm gone." Be able to walk away. You know, and this is sad. You should be allowed to do your job. This is not the first time. Many times, Bogota they have that justice minister and more political than legal. They're not giving a chance to do. They're not doing their work because they want to please Mr. Weah. And that is not that. As a professional, learn to do your work. You know, because history will be written tomorrow. Okay? You can be a dummy minister, you just said that, and then be subjected to the will and caprice of a corrupt president. You know, that is not what you should do. You should be dutiful to your career. You should be dutiful to your oath. And if you're dutiful to your oath, you'll do what you should do. Your constitutional responsibility. All right? Not to the craving or the liking of a certain president. Yeah, I'm not saying he's a president power, but say, oh, Mr. President, I mean, this is my latitude, this is my bandwidth. I should work, be allowed to do my work. I mean, but to the point where you're subjected to the women caprices and you almost like cripple and cannot work as a justice minister, it's shameful and sham. It's a sham, you know, pure travesty. So why are you doing that? But again, if you choose to be there, it means you choose to ride with the wind. You choose to play to the game, and that's it. And this is sad. At the end of the day, the country doesn't get served properly. As a justice minister, you can't muster the courage to even go after crime, go after stuff. You know, we don't know what will be happening with respect. We talk about the EPS board case. It falls in your lap. But now we should be getting, you know, there should be a panel set up by the justice minister to hear that. Again, nothing going to happen. And it's sad.
And Robert, how do you square what you just explained with this post that I love? I read it and it came from you. Loyalty is everything in life, from friendship, relationship to politics. Loyalty is key. No virtue compares to loyalty, you wrote. Yeah. Maybe this guy is trying to be loyal to the president.
No, there's a difference between sycophancy and loyalty. You know, a sycophantic friend or a sycophantic person would not muster the courage to tell the president, Mr. President, we can't do this, it's wrong, this is reprehensible. You know, a sycophantic person, a sycophantic honorling, you know, or henchman will say to the president, Mr. President, you're right. When the president stand up to dance, you gotta dance with him, even though you know what the president doing. It's improper for the president to go and start tying lapa and dancing. President, look, it's the highest office in the land.
But tying lapa is part of the culture, Moncio, so I don't know why you're talking about this. All right, folks, in cyberspace, it seems to be there's a little glitch there at Moncio's end. Let's hope he joins us here. Again, you are watching Focus on Liberia. This is our program, The Opposition Perspective, with Robert Moncio Kpadeh. Okay, I think you are all set there. Apparently, you are getting a call. Go ahead.
So there is a silver lining. There is a nice silver lining, but distinction between loyalty and sycophancy. My post put the emphasis on loyalty. If I'm your friend, you're my boss. As far as in the political realm, we have a duty to serve the country. All right? My job, I should say to you, look, Ashley, this way is wrong. This way is wrong. I should be able to muster the courage to say to you, my man, you are supposed to do X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, do that. But the people you appointed to do X, Y, Z, they're not doing it. Can you muster the courage to take action against them? You should take action against them. You know, saying the truth. Loyalty to your friend means standing up and telling him the truth to protect your friend. Sycophancy, you will not do that because you don't want to fall on the finger with your friend. You want to prepare to enjoy his largesse and his patronage. Take for instance, the man is going on a country tour, all the cabinet ministers are going. That's sycophancy. They can't muster across it with the president. They ain't made that. We need to do the work for the people. Okay, we could probably designate them if they want them to each to go with you. Let's do the work. And the key minister, like the internal affairs minister, that's the only man I think really have to make the duty there because he's the internal affairs minister. Okay, that's his job. He got to work with the superintendent. The people that should be there, the internal affairs minister, the superintendents, of course, they are in the county, you know. But not you. But now you're doing it to go there. You should be working. What the commerce minister doing there? What the finance minister doing there? Okay, you should not be there. That's sycophancy. Why do they subject themselves to sycophancy? Because they want to keep feeding on the political agendas of the president. You see? But loyalty, you say, Mr. President, is wrong. There's a way to do it. You don't have to go and be bombastic publicly, but you'll speak to it always, Mr. President. We can't do it away. All right? That's loyalty. Loyalty, when I say it's a strong virtue, it's a strong virtue from a positive standpoint. All right? You stand by people. All right? Your leaders in your family stand by people. Because even the Bible, the Quran make emphasis on loyalty. You know, even God talks about loyalty. You know, it pays to be. Because when you be loyal to people today, tomorrow other people will serve you. All right? So there is a distinction between loyalty and sycophancy. And when I talk about loyalty, I was talking about loyalty from a positive point. Stand by a friend, tell him the truth. Watch his back. Forget his back. You know, you can't be my friend. All right? We have all the nice time together. When I turn my back, you're my enemy. That's disloyalty. That's not friendship. That's not loyalty. If I'm your friend, I should stand to your back and fight for you. I don't even have to come and say, look, after that, all that fighting for you. Someone else can tell you, your man, I'm fighting for you because I know you. You know, so it's difficult this time in these days to find loyalty. You know, a lot of things have changed around here, but you know, I just like to teach and I write these things to educate people and then remind people. Give my life lessons because it comes from above, you know, and I just share it. I just do that.
All right. Thank you, Rabbi Moncio Kpadeh. He is the leader of the One People Revolutionary Movement. That is a pro-democracy and political advocacy organization based in Liberia. He is in the opposition bloc. He is a political actor, and he comes here every other Sunday, and we have this program, the opposition perspective here at Focus on Liberia. Rabbi, Focus on Liberia values your time in giving the opposition take on the issues of governance. Some people don't understand that we have to do that. We have to hold each other accountable. I've seen people writing comments and saying, so haters. This is not about hate. We are talking about country here. Yeah, there. No, let me deal with them, Rabbi. We are not talking about, this is not about, we're talking governance here. We're talking about our country, your country, my country. And you say, because the man who is in power is your friend, so I shouldn't talk about my country. And you call that a hate. If you don't have any word to say, you know, just watch and leave. We will talk about this, and we'll talk every day. We have the opportunity to talk about country. We will talk about it because it is our country too. Those who are at the realm of power, who are looting the national resources of the country, and you think that by them looting it benefits our people. You didn't see the faces of our people covered with poverty. You think that we want to join you and sing your kumbaya because somebody is in power and you like the person. You're not going to find it here. We're going to hold everybody accountable. It is not about Mr. Weah. It is not about any particular person. It is about country and it's about people and how our people can be better represented. Oh, you want to tell me the senators are doing well for the people? They passed a stimulus package, and up to now, some people have not even received rice in the very Morovia they passed that package. And you don't want us to talk about that? And you call that a hate? Well, that is how you see it. Robert, time is fast spent. Let's bring the final issue here, and then you drill on it, and then we close the curtains here. We have barely 5 minutes left. Also, final issue here is Sema Serena Seafords, the Solicitor General. He penned a letter. Some people interpret it as he's instructing the National Election Commission to not certificate Brandon Samukai, who squarely won his seat in Lofa County. And people are saying that because of this corruption thing against, him, that, I mean, that is a different case, but it boils around the issue of integrity. But the issue I want you to comment on is that Serena Seafords penned his letter instructing that body do not perform it well, telling them what to do, in other words. And some people saying he overstepped his bound. This is not his first time writing letters of this sort, not to the knowledge of his boss, Frank Musa Dean. Any word of caution that you have for this Solicitor General? He seems to be overreacting.
Yeah, can you increase my volume a little bit? You from your end, you're a little bit low.
Yeah, the reason is you have received a call. So the only way that can be corrected is when you
Okay.
leave and come by and restart your phone. But because
Okay.
of time,
All right. So okay,
I
but
think
you
I
can
can
hear me
hear you.
clear.
So go on and conclude on that issue.
Okay, great. So look, you know, in the first place, I think the letter should not have been written. I think it was just Brother Silva was already Zilliot. And I can only say to him, look, let's keep in the confines of the law and keep in the confines of your boundary. You're the Solicitor General. The first thing, it was a total drama that day. The Justice Minister will come and tell senators, I'm not aware of the letter. The letter was not done to my acquaintance. Then we find out the next thing comes and say, oh, yeah, you know about the letter. So the first thing, that's wrong. This is so, you can't do that. It's reprehensible for the Justice Minister to come and give one story today. The next time come back and say he gave another story. I think, by the way, as far as logic holds, that letter should not have been done in the first place because the man already won the election. You didn't stop him from the beginning from go. The best bet would have stopped him from going to the election. After he won the election, it was late. And the fact that the Supreme Court, okay, has already mandated neck to say the man is legal. He's won. Certificate in. That letter is automatically moot. And they just said to Mr. Speaker, just take your time, and try to do things in the confines of the law. There's always tomorrow. Shiva is a friend of mine. He used to be my lawyer, and I try to be a little bit careful. But take your time. Let's do things in the confines of the law. The justice ministry cannot be over the politicized because when you do that, you hurt a lot of people. When you do that, you hurt a lot of people, and then you can undermine the peace of this country. You begin to deny people justice. You begin to fight people. You undermine people. And put them in harm's way. You can undermine the peace of this country. The justice ministry is critical, all right? It is a citadel of justice. You have to do things in a way, in a much you want to please. Yeah, but the law is the law. The law is the law. Ask some questions. Be sure what you're doing. Falls in the confines of the law, and you're doing things rightfully, and not doing it unscrupulously. In a very erroneous way, and because you want to get at people. As a law, the whole thing was a total political play. It was more than law. It was more about a political play to please people in the hierarchy of the city than actual legal, any real legal, general legal move. The man had already gone to the election. He won the election. Why is the letter coming this? Why is the letter coming this late? So, I mean, in the argument, he was proving that letter was wrong. It was unlawful. It was order, and he just veered off course. And I think it was influenced politically because you want to get at somebody and stuff like that. This is wrong. The justice ministry cannot be used as a tool to go after people. This is wrong. I mean, that can only work in the repressive style government. We saw what happened to Genghis Khan, going after people, and he end up on a dump park. I can only caution them to be very careful. Urge them to be very mindful that nothing is permanent. Mr. Weir is
Thank you.
Tomorrow he will not be president. There will be a day when Mr. Weir will be called former president. He will go. He cannot continue to be president. I'm sure Mr. Weir not going to be president beyond 2023. By 2023, this deal is over. All right. So,
all right.
He will go one day. He's not going to be president forever. They will not turn that trumpet behind anymore, that horn behind anymore. He will be former president. He will have to look us in the faces. He will have to go around. All right? Because Sivas will have to go around. So we have to be very careful. That you, the head of the country, and you're in government, does not mean you own our country. Does that mean you can just abrogate all power to yourself, just bastardize things around the place, violate the laws, and go after people and injure them. There will be tomorrow. And we have to be very careful.
Thank you.
So I can just say to them, they have to be very careful. To those who got all their concerns and think that will hit us. We are, of course, hit. It's up to them. That's the right view. But we will keep standing up for our country. We will continue to come and we are to order. We'll continue to put the government feet to fire. We'll do so with no malice. We are duty bound to do so. We move this country together. We share the responsibility. He does what he does. We do what we do. All right. And we'll do it on the line of truth. All right. We're not manufacturing the facts here. We're not giving alternative facts about we are. What we're discussing here are fundamental truth. All right.
Thank you.
So when you want to argue against me on that. Don't bring sentiment about it. I didn't manufacture nothing about myself. We are everything I said, tell me, say, you know what you said that too. Then let's argue about it. And I produce my facts. But everything I say here is true. So what do you say about that? You know, so you want to dabble, I'm not going to dabble with people going low. I don't go down low with people. This is about the issue, this is about our country. You know. So as for that, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to next Sunday again, where we will come and talk about our country more and more.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Moncio. Thank you, Mr. Kpadeh. As always, we will be here to talk about the issue that is our country, and we will jealously advocate for our people, and we will fiercely do so. And if it means that we'll do so with fire and fury, we will do so because the people, we are obligated to protecting their interests and the interests of the country. Thank you, my brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was Robert Moncio Kpadeh there on this program. The opposition perspective that comes on every other Sunday here at Focus on Liberia. Folks, this is how we will draw the curtains here at Focus on Liberia in this yet another edition of the program, The Opposition Perspective with Robert Moncio Kpadeh. The song that says we are all Liberians is taking us home. Until we see you again, I'm Anthony here saying bye-bye.
Salute.
We are Liberians.